I love you, Donna. I love you too. What's up, my honkies? In London, in Cambridgeshire, England.
What?
Huh?
Or, as we call it, Cambridgeshire, I am Booze, in North Carolina, birthplace and home of the famous evangelical preacher Billy Graham, who died recently, aged 99. Billy Graham, where is you God now? That's Chuck Turtleman.
That's your co-host, Chuck Turtleman.
Oh yeah, co-host Chuck Turtleman. And in the ancient city of Boston, which is now over 100 years old. Don't work in a bar if you're a recovering alcoholic, Sam. That's the last place you should be, you flipping idiot. It's our old friend, Dickie. He's Dickie and he's from Boston. Likes to podcast with no socks on. Dickie. 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 Hello, Dickie.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
So, it's been a while. Welcome to season 4, possibly 5 of the Sweet Feathery Jesus podcast. I guess we've got some catching up to do. What's been going on, Dickie? Have you had any more children or bought any more haunted ventriloquist dolls from the collection of Ed and Lorraine Warren?
No kids yet. I'm still trying to recover from the last one.
Yeah, what is it? It's his 16th month anniversary at the moment.
2 years now.
What? 24 months?
And your body still hadn't bounced back?
I tell you, the thing is, they drag you down because you look at them and they're just sitting there and they're all plump and fat, and you look at them and you say,
hang on, sorry, we are talking about your wife or your kid here? What?
Jesus, Booze.
I'm sorry. Carry on.
You look at them and you say, I don't look that bad. I can do a sit-up.
Well, you start to see that as a normal, healthy body. It's kind of fat acceptance on the real weird subconscious level of
Plus,
taking care of your kid.
Women all over those little plump fellas.
No, I mean, they get praised for being like that.
They do. They get praised for doing one sit-up.
The rolling over.
Oh, and just if they smile at a lady, forget about it.
What about the walking, the stumbling around the living room? I mean, I can do that, but I don't get praised for it.
I get fussed at for it.
I've been trying to get back into shape, and it's just hard at this age. I mean, I've tried to take up swimming again.
What are you, like 25 now, Dickie?
Yeah, forget it, mate. Don't bother.
But I put on a Speedo now, and it's not the same as it was 20 years ago. It's just not a good look anymore.
What's it look like now, Dickie?
The Speedo?
I mean the Speedos. It's the other way round in Britain. Like, we call Lego by their proper name, which is Lego, singular. You call them Legos. We call...
I don't.
You know the score now.
Yeah.
We call a Speedo, as you call it, we call them Speedos, because it's a pair of trunks.
But you only get one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I only use the one.
It's complicated. That's the English language for you.
Dickie, make sure your shit's tucked in there. It's very, very important.
Well, especially because I do this at the high school.
Yeah. So are you swimming with high school kids?
No, they're in class.
Bow-legged women?
There's not that many women that do it, and the ones that do are the ones that kind of stay in the shallow end and bounce, doing their aerobics and stuff.
You mean the cute ones.
With a gigantic, oversized ball.
You can't call ladies that in 2018, Booze.
Yeah, I do apologise. See, I'm the opposite to you, Mr. Turtleman, when it comes to your swimming athleticism when you were a kid, because I had those things, those, we call them grommets, they put in your ears, and you're not allowed to go swimming. And it didn't work the first time, so I didn't actually go swimming with the school until quite late on. I weren't allowed to, so then they put me and these kind of remedial weirdos who had been swimming the whole time but still couldn't get the hang of it. We were all in the baby pool.
Yeah.
It was very, very embarrassing, but I like to think character building. There's nothing like hanging around with some dribbling weirdos in a baby pool when you're 11 in a pair of Speedos.
Dude, we had this end of year standardized test we had to take every year in grade school. I was told that the percentage wrong versus percentage right weighed out far more than how many questions you got right. You could just get one right answer and get a passing score. So I only went through and did super easy questions that I was 100% sure I was right on. And it was several hundred questions. I probably did 20. I got put in a remedial math class the next year. And dude, it was like straight up like the poorest kids, the white trash and the black kids that look exactly like they walked off a Fat Albert set. And I was horrified. And I went in there and of course just aced everything. And they didn't let me out because I pissed off the assistant principal or guidance counselor or whoever I brought it to.
Ed Rooney.
Basically, I was like, I don't belong in here with these people. And they made me do it for half a year.
This is reminding me of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, basically. You're
I
R.P.
know.
McMurphy.
Only I wasn't in trouble. I just tried to be lazy on a test. I tried to beat the system.
So did he.
I tried to outsmart the system and got stuck in a dumb class.
You didn't get one of the other kids in the remedial class to commit suicide, did you?
I sat on the first row, the closest desk to the door, and when that bell rang, my bag was packed and I was out that motherfucker. Because, you know, this was like 10th grade or 9th. It was high school. You graduate after 12th here.
Wow.
I was not an age where I even wanted to be seen coming out of one of the remedial classes. There was a whole little wing of the school that was those. And it was on the very far end of the goddamn thing, too.
The good thing is, if you got out that door and closed it behind you, it would take them a good 30 minutes to work out how to use the door handle.
Well, they weren't the brightest kids, but some of them, I think, were really good at opening doors. And in fact, are now in jail for that.
I'd still maintain that's not as humiliating as getting out of the baby pool, holding your great big beach ball that you've just been pushing along, paddling behind, and then turning right, and then there's all the girls at your school in their swimsuits, and you're wearing your little trunks.
Okay, I'll grant you that, but
Alright,
you win.
thanks.
There really was no one that I could have a conversation with. It was fucking idiots, man.
So it sounds like you had quite a tough childhood. So you're in remedial maths. Again, we hit the Speedo, Lego, maths problem. We've had two different languages. And remember that time you shut yourself when you were wearing a white pantsuit playing Defender or whatever it was?
The game was Defender. I was not wearing a white pantsuit. I was wearing sweatpants. I think they were gray.
Oh. Well, they weren't when you finished your game of Defender.
I guess since this is coming up, a story I'd hope to never share again in my life. Because I was about 13 when the game Defender was popular.
Yeah. It
We
was
would
so
ride our
hard to
bikes.
tear yourself away, though, from that game. You know, if you had your quarter in there.
Because it's constant excitement. There's spaceships coming at you all the time.
That's probably what did it. Overexcited.
Well, that and too many ices. But the guy that owned the store hated me because I could walk in there with one quarter and just play that game. Really, I could probably play it all day and night because I would just build up a shitload of lives and eventually somebody watching me, I'd go, here, take over. I'm done. And I would have so many smart bombs built up. It was ridiculous. But they were just little dumb hacks, little ways. I probably could still do it. Ways you shook the joystick back and forth and then held it perfectly in the middle. And it would make the ships coming at you turn away for a minute.
I've got to give you top props for this because, of course, this is before the internet. There wasn't a magazine giving you these hacks. You had to pick it up all for yourself by putting those quarters in the first place.
It was the only video game they had. I played it constantly.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, though, that very nice Indian man that owned the little convenience store I played this at, he got a lot of my quarters while I got good at them. But it was just the same game that would be in there for a year or two. And I was a teenage kid that lived around the corner. I'd get good and I'd watch other people. But I got to the point.
Well, you shit yourself. That's the point I'm trying to get to.
It was just terrible timing because I played more solo hours of Defender, but it was when some of my buddies had ridden up with me, and we had drank ices. We all rode our bikes.
You bought the ices from this store, though, did you?
Yeah.
Well, what's he complaining about?
Oh, he would bitch that I filled the icy cup too full. I mean, he was probably a 50-year-old. I thought he was old at the time. 50-year-old man.
He was, let me
And
tell you.
I get it now that I own a store. I'd be annoyed if one kid hung out my store for 4 hours. I'd lose my goddamn mind. But all I did was play his game and occasionally buy a candy bar or some icy. But yeah, ices, Slurpees, they're the frozen little drinks.
Like a slush puppy, I think we call them over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yep.
We used to have slush puppies. That might have been what it was. But anyway, I was playing the game for a while, and my friends would buy me ices, so I'd build up enough lives for them to play for a long time. Because they would lose lives, I would gain them. And I was sitting there playing, and I just needed to poot. I needed to pass gas. And I kind of did the thing where you plant your foot. I mean, I'll never forget exactly how I was standing and how it felt. I kind of stuck my ass out, and I just tried to make an opening so it wouldn't be audible and just let a little wind out.
It's too big an opening.
A half liter of liquid just started coming out. And I grabbed the back of my pants, and I grabbed my legs, and I got on my bike, and I pedaled home.
Wow.
And, yeah, it was immediate, yo, ass defender, It's such a stupid nickname. That's not even funny.
Ass defender. No,
But
it
I
doesn't
did
really
grab
make
my-
sense.
I did grab my sweatpants
okay,
shorts, yeah.
Yeah.
To get Belasco level graphic, it was on my socks
Oh.
when I got home.
Oh, my God.
And I wasn't sick at all.
Not like everyone else must have been, though, I would guess.
Maybe the guy was slipping something in those.
Yeah, I don't want to cast aspersions on this Indian man who's probably now dead, but he knew you came in there. You're hogging his game. You're drinking those slush puppies stroke ices. He's got the MMO. Maybe he was slipping some stuff in there, and that's why. You think you're going to have just a quick fart. All of a sudden, you've got a gusher there.
There's something in the human body when something's coming down there, if that's coming out in gas or solid or liquid form, you just kind of know what's coming. I was sure I really had gas pressure.
Yeah, normally you get,
But
like, even if it's like 30 seconds warning, you still get that warning.
Not always enough, but always a little bit of time.
And then you know not to open the valve when you're wearing your white
yeah.
tracksuit trousers.
They weren't tracksuits, dude. I think they were gray sweatpants cut off at the knee.
So anyway, I'm glad we caught up with everything that's been going on with you, Dickie.
I'm happy to share.
SFJ.
Hey, you know what? It's been a long time. Why don't we do the long version of the Pants News jingle?
Oh, dude, really?
Yes.
Pants News. I just wrote a new bit called Pants News. Pants News. I've always got no pants and no money. Remember, pants seldom let you down when you need 'em. Oh, Pants News is the news round and it's sweeter than Pants News. I got combat pants. I got jeans with holes. Sometimes I feel like reading some pants news. Pants news can teach you. Somebody sent me. One day, I'm gonna do some pants news in a podcast. Oh, one day, I'm gonna do some pants.
All right.
Remember?
The Sunshine State of Florida recently had a pantsless lady fight. We have few details about the story, seeing as the only article on it I could find seemed to be written by a 12-year-old. Here's Booze.
Woman, quote, without any pants on, end quote, busted after feud with other woman. There's two womans in the headline. That's bad tabloidese. Indian Town. That's a misnomer, looking at the pictures. A 35-year-old woman without any pants on was arrested after being accused of pulling hair and kicking a person in the stomach. An affidavit states Denise Jackson of Indiantown was jailed Jan 16 after the spat in the 14800 block of Southwest 171st Avenue in Indiantown.
That really sounds like a fake address to me.
It does, doesn't it?
How long is this street if there's a 14,800 block?
She's right down the end of it, though. Jackson's sister told Martin County Sheriff's deputies that her 11-year-old son reported Jackson had her wallet. Jackson's sister... Hang on. How many Jacksons we got in this? Is it...
It's like the Jackson 5. Just go with it.
Well, so far it's the Jackson 2. Jackson's sister checked the wallet and determined $90 was missing. Jackson's sister confronted Jackson and said she was going to check Jackson for the missing Jackson. Oh, no, check her for the missing cash. That's when Jackson is accused of pulling her sister's hair and kicking her son in the stomach.
This article would be much easier to read if they gave Jackson's sister a name.
I know.
Just two different people.
LaToya. She said she asked to pull her pants down to see if Denise hid the money there. While she's assisting her with taking off her pants, Denise tried to run out the front door, the affidavit states. See, this is the thing. How far can you get with your trousers half off? I've always thought, I'm not sure whether it is the current fashion, but you know the youth of today have the pants hanging down.
I think that's kind of fallen out of favor.
Well, you know why? Because in the old 1940s films, Humphrey Bogart, when everyone wore a suit, they would pull the jacket down, which would effectively turn it into a straitjacket, and people couldn't hit back. So then someone would come around the front and give you a good hiding. But with these guys, all you need to do is pull their trousers down around their ankles, and then you can do what you want.
Benny Hill ran really fast with pants around his ankles.
Yeah, but he was really practiced at it. So Denise, she asked to put her pants down to see if Denise hid the money there. While she was assisting her taking off her pants, Denise tried to run out the front door. Exactly. The style of... But here it takes a turn. The style of pants, such as bell-bottoms, clam diggers, jodhpurs or jeans, wasn't clear.
Now, is that supposed to be an exhaustive list?
Yeah, because, I'm wondering what kind of pants she wasn't wearing.
All right, jeggings, leggings, tracksuit bottoms, combats.
Here's a controversial one. Are shorts pants?
No. Shorts are short pants. Chinos, as anyone who's seen an American tourist over the age of 50 walking around Europe will know, it's a light-coloured chino with a dark brown belt combination. They like that.
Cargo shorts?
Cargos. It also wasn't clear whether Jackson wore underwear or went without, a practice known as going commando.
My question is, can a lady go commando? I thought that was just reserved for gentlemen.
She goes commandette.
Something's got to hang down for it to be yeah.
Doe, a deer, a female deer.
Well, you might have enough matter that needs support.
This guy, though, I bet you any money it's the same guy who's just hanging around the courtroom making up good headlines. You've got, interspersed throughout this story, you've got more. Yeah. Police get to the bottom of buttocks caper. More. Cops don't turn other cheek in fanny flashing caper. Anything with a bum in it is a caper to this fella.
Well, here's the thing. We might have enough material to just have a segment called Butt News. Spreading some butt news. And part 2 is a very special episode of Pants News.
Chicago, Illinois. The year was 1999. 10-year-old Amy Schultz never got off her bus from school. Her frantic mother called the local police, who told her that she could file a report after she had been missing for 24 hours. Kids run off all the time, they said, but her mother knew this wasn't like Amy. All right, it's time for a smoke break. Here's a big shout out to listener Sir Nigel Longstock from London, England, or as he calls it, London. The kind gentleman, noted theatricalist, has been generous enough to donate a carton of smokes to the Smoke Fund. Today's cigarette is Cowboy Astronaut Filtered Menthol. Great minty taste and definitely not for kids, so I give it 6 littered cigarette butts out of 28. All right, let's smoke some cigs, catch some cancer, and talk some true crime.
Whoa. Turtleman, is that it?
The authorities caught the guy because they found his pants fibers at the scene.
Uh-huh.
It was a slow pants news cycle.
Pants News. I just wrote a new bit called Pants News. Pants News. I've always got no pants and no money.
Remember.
Pants seldom let you down when you need 'em. Woo! Oh, Pants News is the news round and it's sweeter than Pants News.
No, it's not.
I got combat pants.
I still do,
I
baby.
got jeans with holes.
Woo!
Sometimes I feel like
Yeah! Readers the pants.
Don't play in that broken glass, Zebulon.
Now, if you're a long-time listener to the podcast, you'll notice that some noises that we used to hear in the background are no longer with us. Firstly, there's the famous hiss that used to come from Turtleman's end. I mean, end of his recording, not his end.
It comes from there too, dude.
Yeah. But there is also another noise that you might have heard, which was a kind of a snoring noise.
Lily. My English bulldog Lily famously would fall asleep at my feet any time I would sit down, whether dinner, in my chair here in the office, in my chair in front of the TV. She had a need to be right in front of my feet, and it's one of the most endearing things about her, really. Even when she was super old, she'd get up all arthritic and lumber over and sit in front of my feet. And except for a few times she snored too loud, I wasn't gonna tell the dog, no, you can't love me that much, go away, out to the hall with you. But a few times, yeah, she snored really loud. And
Every time we did the podcast, basically.
well, we edited them out mostly, but she did die in September.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, man. My other dog, Rose, died in September, too, on the 2nd
man.
and the 29th. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that all the listeners will agree with me that the podcast does sound a lot better now.
Well, and that's with my new dog sitting about 6 feet from me right now.
Ah, it's a circle of life.
Well, I got a new dog. She's also a bulldog. Her name is Eleanor. She was one of the most just like horrible dog cases. But Eleanor is adorable and much quieter.
Yeah, that's what I like about her, to be honest.
F.
Made the kids some breakfast, sent them off to school, now it's time for a break. Had a little hoover, spent the day on Facebook, it's time for a break. Would you like some rosé wine? How about some brand new shoes? Come and take a break with, come and take a break with booze.
Yay!
Oh,
Everyone loves Take a Break.
It's been so long, I've built up a big stockpile of Take a Break magazines. In fact, I think I might be keeping the women's magazine industry afloat in Britain. I've got about 17 of them that I've cherry-picked from. And to be honest with you, 17 Take a Break magazines is how much you need to make one decent magazine. So let's have a look at this one here. Your Bumper Monthly Take a Break magazine. So I guess it does come out monthly, although I'm not sure whether they've got a weekly one and a monthly one, or a 2 weekly one and a monthly one, and a 6 month and a summer special. I don't know. But this one here, it says you can win 17,100 and £10 in prizes, which is a disappointingly round number if you know your taker breaks.
Yeah.
But it's a great cover, this one. Boozy Bride. So tipsy, I went to the wrong wedding. Well, that immediately took my eye. I'm just going to dive straight into that because what a great story that would be, right?
Oh, you get a different wife than you were expecting?
What a...
That sure would be a story.
And then you're stuck with her.
She went to the wrong wedding. So here we go. So as you know, all these articles, they all start as a cold open right in the middle. I had a strawberry in one hand and a glass of bubbly in the other. But when I looked over at my boyfriend, I dropped the lot on the floor. Dan, I gasped. Are you serious? He was on one knee on the hotel carpet. I've loved you since we were teenagers, he said, and I can't see my life without you. I won't do the accent. My mouth dropped open in shock. I'd been surprised when Dan had booked us into a fancy hotel and ordered a bottle of fizz on room service, but I'd never expected this. Still, I knew what my answer would be, and when I'd recovered my composure, I said, yes, I'd love to be your wife. Before I knew it, our special day had arrived. That morning, I set about doing my hair and makeup. It's a good story, isn't it, so far? I could hardly believe. Yeah, I could hardly believe that I was about to get married, and I felt a little flutter of anxiety in my tummy. Now, you will know, probably by this point, that tummy is a word that is in all these stories in Take a Break. They always use the word tummy for their intestinal systems.
That means butthole in Britain, I learned.
I thought, I know what'll settle that. I went to the fridge, where I grabbed a bottle of Prosecco. I didn't drink much as a rule, so I poured myself
Isn't that pasta sauce?
I didn't drink much as a rule, so I poured myself a very small glass and took a sip. As the bubbles hit my throat, I started to relax, so I had another sip, and then another. After 2 glasses, I was feeling much more confident.
That was like me and the ices, dude.
After 2 glasses, I was feeling much more confident and at ease, and I climbed into the car and set off for register office. When I arrived, Dan was waiting. He looked so handsome in his suit, and my tummy, here we go again, flipped. Dan and I exchanged our vows, and as we walked out into the wintry sunshine, I said, I can't believe we're actually married. Dan kissed me. Ah, no, he said. I love you, Donna. I love you too, I replied. Yeah, okay. We went for dinner, and then it was time to prepare for the evening reception. With the ceremony out of the way, my nerves had evaporated, and I was ready to let my hair down. I'm going to celebrate, I said, as we stepped into our venue. Steady on, Dan said. You don't want to go too far, do you? But I was no longer listening. When I saw the decorations and all our guests waiting, I knew it was going to be the best night of my life. Someone handed me a glass of Prosecco, and I knocked it back. Then I spotted my best friend Lucy. What are you drinking? She asked. I want to get the bride a drink. I'll have a gin and tonic. It's my favourite. I thought that was Prosecco. Never mind. Word got around that I was on the gin, and soon everyone was buying me G&Ts. I chatted and drank and chatted, and an hour later I was feeling very merry indeed. Now I want to remind you of the headline on the front of this magazine, which is why I bought it. It says, Boozy Bride, so tipsy I went to the wrong wedding.
I'd totally forgotten it at this point.
Yeah. Well, it was very
She's
captivating.
playing Defender.
Very captivating telling of the story, that's why. Anyway, she was crashing into chairs, nearly knocked over the cake. The DJ interrupted. It's now time for the first dance. Dan helped me as I staggered onto the dance floor to the strains of A Whole New World. Ah, what a beautiful song. He gripped my waist and tried to move me in time to the music, but I kept stepping on his feet. Whoops, I giggled. Oh, this is a bit embarrassing, isn't it? As soon as it was over, I said I have to get some fresh air. He offered to come with me, but I told him to go and have a boogie. I didn't want to ruin his night. We already have. I was taking deep breaths of the cool night air, and I got chatting to a couple of partygoers. They were guests at a different wedding at the same venue. Oh, it's not very exciting, one said. It's really quiet. You should come to mine instead, I declared. It's a real knees up. Sounds great, they all said. So I went back inside with my new friends and we hit the dance floor. Blah, 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 blah. And she had a lot of fun. And then she woke up in the hotel room in the early hours in the morning. She's still in her wedding dress. He's still in his suit. A wicker hamper has been trampled to death. And she thought, what the heck happened last night? She said, oh, was I very embarrassing last night? He said, no, you were just very, very funny. He told me I had almost thrown up over the wedding cake and then turned up with guests from another wedding, and I groaned. Oh, I can't believe that I did that. I said, I stole another bride's wedding. They were having a great time, he said, whoever they were. I guess all sort
and
of...
don't get your baby DNA tested.
I guess all sort of the funny side too. Now, what has happened here is she's invited people who were at another wedding reception to her reception.
Can you give me the headline one more time?
I will do that, Dickie. Thanks for asking. Boozy bride, so tipsy, I went to the wrong wedding. No, some other people came to your wedding reception because you invited them from another wedding reception in the same hotel.
Yeah.
Blatant false advertising, and I want my £1.90 back.
S. F.
J.
Hey, Chuck, when was the last time you took the copter up for the news round?
Way too long, my brother. Let's take it to the skies. This is Professor Chuck Turtleman's News Round in the Newscopter. There's a new chief executioner for the terror group ISIS. Londoner Siddharth Dihar has been promoted to the position, presumably from his experience in a similar field. Booze, tell the listeners about what this guy used to blow up.
British bouncy castle salesman is new Jihadi John, terrorist who fled Britain to join ISIS, is group's new executioner, according to US officials. Siddharth fled the UK with his wife and children in September 2014. The United States government has now placed Dar on its global terrorism list, saying it's replaced Jihadi John as an executioner for ISIS. Siddharth, also known as Abu Ramazan. If you're into the whole British terrorism business, don't call yourself Abu. There's a precedent for that. Old Abu Hamza with hooks for hands. He left the UK to join ISIS in Syria, where he replaced Londoner Mohammed Emwazi as the group's executioner, the State Department said. Dar, a former bouncy castle salesman from Walthamstow, London, that's where I was born, was placed
At a
on the
bouncy
list.
castle?
Yeah, it was. He was placed on the list along with Abdelatif Gaini, a Belgian Moroccan citizen who is also believed to be fighting in the Middle East. The designation allows the government to impose sanctions as well as freeze assets and property on his bouncy castle.
But, you know, you'd think the money would really be in renting.
Yeah, I mean, who sells a bouncy castle?
This guy.
I think they've had a problem with the cladding on the bouncy castles lately. It's all got to be replaced.
Oh, they throw acid in him.
They're not very robust structures. In a statement on Tuesday, the State Department said Siddharth Dar, who has been nicknamed Jihadi Sid, was the leading member of the now-defunct terrorist organisation Al Muhajiroun. He was a good soul singer. Do you remember him, Al Muhajiroun? So, bouncy castles, mosques. It seems like this fella really has an affinity for places where you have to take your shoes off. If this whole jihadi thing don't work out for him, he could always go and work in a bowling alley.
In Nigeria, a Nigerian money snake has been accused of eating 36 million Nigerian dollars, which I'm guessing is the equivalent of about $50 American. Here's Booze with the details.
Nigerian snake, 8 millions of naira. Clark says. Clark?
Clerk.
Well, it's spelt Clerk, and I know you...
Therefore, clerk.
Well, we're getting into Speedo Lego area again.
No, we're getting into one of those weird places where occasionally the British are wrong.
Never.
And
come on.
Outside of dropping some U's in words that don't belong, you're right on nearly everything. And I will always say, yep, you're right on that. I agree all the time. However, clerk is E, Clark is A.
So the Kevin Smith movie, do you guys call that Clarks or Clerks?
It was very confusing.
Fair enough.
All right, so a Nigerian sales clerk or clerk has been suspended after she told auditors that a snake had eaten 36 million naira. That's the equivalent of $100,000 or £72,250. I should point out the pound has gone up in value against the dollar since then, so it's probably more.
Oh, good.
The clerk, Philomena Chiesh, was working at an office for the Nigerian Examination Board, which collects exam fees. The exam board, the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, told the BBC that it dismissed her claim and has started disciplinary proceedings. The incident has been ridiculed by Nigerians on social media.
I think I have a solution to this problem.
Ah.
I've been communicating with a Nigerian prince and working out this deal. Once this closes, we're both going to end up with a lot of money. And I think as a sovereign of the nation, he can use some of that money to probably pay back what this snake ate. And no harm, no foul.
Ah, that'd be beautiful. Maybe you could stuff a snake with 36 million naira and just send it to Turtleman.
Frame it and just hang it in my room.
Well, this would be a lot easier in Zimbabwe, of course, where it would just be a light snake snack, seeing as they have a $100 trillion note after inflation went crazy. And it takes...
I want one.
I've seen one in a shop window in London. There's like a coin shop, you know, right in the heart
Oh, I
of London.
still want one to mount and hang on my wall.
I'll take a picture of it, so it's almost as good. I'll send it to you.
That's counterfeiting.
Okay.
Oh, it would be counterfeit. I'd have to, photocopy it and then...
And blur those serial numbers, yeah.
That's it, and then get 3 of them and take it to Zimbabwe where I could buy a fun-sized Mars bar with it.
Like the bouncy castle salesman, the guy who used to wear the Barney the dinosaur costume also has a new gig. Former Barney David Joyner is now a prostitute who charges ladies $350 to have unprotected sex with him. In case you're wondering, he does not perform his services while wearing the Barney costume. Over to you, Booze.
Former Barney the dinosaur actor now works as a controversial tantric sex guru. The actor, who starred as the cuddly T-Rex host of 90s children's TV show Barney and Friends, was it a T-Rex?
It had small arms, yeah, probably.
It's a really rounded off version of a T-Rex.
It was a more friendly, happy version.
It's not
The teeth look like
biologically
different
accurate.
vegetation.
The actor who starred as cuddly T-Rex host of 90s children's TV show Barney and Friends, which I forbade Booze Jr. from watching because it was so awful, is now working as a Los Angeles tantric therapist. It has now been revealed, it says here in Telegraph. Come on, sort yourself out, Telegraph. American actor David Joyner, very aptly named, it turns out, 52, told Vice, again very aptly named, that his decade-long stint playing a dancing purple dinosaur was helpful for his current career, having it off with ladies. I added that bit myself. Quote, "The energy I brought up while in costume is based on the foundation of Tantra, which is love," Joyner said. "Everything stems, grows and evolves from love." Joyner only accepts female clients for his services, and he charges $350 for a 4-hour session. On his website, Joyner, a former software analyst, offers clients the chance to reach a higher and more blissful state of awareness of their sexuality.
I'm going to call that a deal.
Yeah. I bet he's got one of those T-shirts that says sex instructor, first lesson free.
Now that you mention it, I've got this shirt that every time I clean out all my T-shirts, I only don't throw away because I'm embarrassed to take it to Goodwill or what have you. It's like sex instructor, first lesson free, basically. But it looks like a diving shirt, and it says special instructor, and there's a little scuba diving figure. But if you look closely, it's 2 figures, and they're 69ing one another. And a buddy bought it for me as a gag, probably in 1992. And I still have the fucking shirt just because I've never found anyone to take it.
Well, I'll tell you who would take it. David Joyner. He'd love it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you've got like an add it off, you know, Adidas, but it's add it off, and the sign is two people making love and their knees are up and they're making the Adidas sign, you'll have that too.
That's like that kid that recently was in the news where he wore the McDonald's parody shirt to school. It was like a lady's legs spread out like the McDonald's arches. And
That's crazy.
what's McDonald's slogan? I can't remember it now. It was on the shirt. God,
I'm loving it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he got sent home.
Really, advertising doesn't really work on you, Dickie. Does it? I mean, that's only been going for 20 years, that slogan.
I just-
Wow, what is it again?
He doesn't remember it.
On his website, Joyner, a former software analyst, offers clients the chance to reach a higher and more blissful state of awareness of their sexuality. According to Vice, Joyner believes this blissful state is best achieved through unprotected penetrative sex and claims that condoms block the energy.
He's right about that.
We reportedly ask clients to declare whether they have any sexually transmitted diseases, fair enough. Sign a consent form, again, before their sessions. Lisa, an anonymous source contacted by Vice, said she had been one of his regular clients for 3 years after first making contact. How much money she done?
$350 a session.
After first making contact with him through the dating app Tinder. Oh my God. Imagine that. You meet someone on Tinder and he goes, oh, and by the way, that'd be $350.
I mean, grinder, yes, but
Joyner's approach to tantric therapy has been criticised by other practitioners in the field. I only know one, that's Sting. He's into it.
He sure is.
He showed off about it for a while.
Well, he went on Okra and said it took him like an hour to have sex.
No, it's 20 hours. He was like, his wife is absolutely exhausted.
like all day practically.
Do you remember the bloke who used to hang out with in the rainforest with the CD tray lip? He was like, come on, Sting, let's go party. Sting's like, well, okay, but it would take me 20 hours. Have you got any CDs that long? And he didn't.
I got a Spotify playlist.
Yeah, these days it'd be much easier.
Yeah.
But I bet the rainforest chief is really regretting having the lip done. Now it doesn't take any of the media. Barney and Friends aired on the US network PBS from 91 to 2009 and was syndicated to other countries around the world, including the UK. It was awful. And those kids were so precocious. Do you remember that little Latino girl who Belasco has now insisted has gone into porn?
Wow, that's terrible.
She probably has, though, I would guess.
well, if she hasn't, I know someone that can train her for $350 for a 4-hour session.
You know, when you look at the price per hour, it's not so bad.
I imagine there's a lot of nap time built into that, though.
Yeah.
S F Sexy.
Hey, Booze.
Yeah.
So what happened to you moving to Camburenshire?
Well, I was always renting in London as much as I loved it. And then when my internet wife came along and I was living on a council estate in the tower block, I was fine with it. But I was seeing it through her eyes, and you got the crazy Polish lady across the road and the nutcases upstairs who just had 2 kids and put one of the floors down. Figured, okay, we're going to buy somewhere. And we kind of had
So it was all those immigrants, huh?
funny enough, apart from the Polish lady and the rug man across the way who was Turkish, who always used to sit outside his flat. Why so many rugs? But no, and the family upstairs, they were British. Greek British, but, you know, I won't hold that against them. So I kind of had to move into Cambridgeshire, where you can buy a house for 3 times less than you can in London. When you get married and you're looking after your internet wife, you look around and there's all this violence and stuff going on. You feel, oh, maybe we should get out. And when I left London, there were like gangs of kids riding around on mopeds, chucking acid in people's faces, and kids were getting shot and stabbed left, right and centre. Mainly stabbed. admittedly.
Hey, I wanted to give you guys big props.
Oh,
London surpassed New York in murder for the first time this quarter.
yeah. So really, really pleased
Congratulations.
about that. I can't take any of the credit for it because I've moved out now. And there are quite a few shootings over here for a country with no guns. Also, I lived in the tower block, and when we left London, all the tower blocks were spontaneously combusting, and you couldn't walk down the road without an Islamic fundamentalist running over you with his van and then trying to cut your head off. So things are a lot quieter out here. Our local BBC News is called Look East, West. And as far as I can tell...
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And
I did that before I crossed the street.
it seems to cover like such a massive area, like from the East Midlands to the North fucking Sea, and nothing ever happens. The top story is usually like a new recycling scheme being introduced in Biggleswade.
Oh, man, though, you got to watch out for recycling schemes in Biggleswade.
Well, why are we even bothering with that? Look at China with their coal-fired power stations. They're building 5 a week.
Yeah, but they got a lot of those people.
And luckily, I get to come back to London for work like 5 days a week. And when I catch the BBC London News and I see that a 15-year-old kid's been stabbed in Mile End, I get a nice warm feeling of nostalgia.
That's sweet.
And this bit on which I'm now talking is the end of the Sweet February Jesus podcast. Episode
Yay.
1, season 4 or 5 or whatever it is. Thanks a lot for listening. Hit us up on all our social medias, and I would just like to say a very warm night.
Stay sexy.
Good night. I love you.
Ah.
He's so sweet.
Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody want the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody want the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody want the dinosaur. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody want the dinosaur. Boom, boom, aka boom. Boom, boom, aka boom, boom. Boom, boom, aka boom. Boom, boom, aka boom, boom.
I got a shy butthole.
Oh, dude, I ain't got the proudest one. Oh, wait till you meet her, dude. She's getting so much better. When I got her, she was still like, you wanted to wash your hands after you patted her. Had some scabs, some
Yeah,
things.
don't we all?
Now she's just all fluffy and nice. Got a little bare spot on her back. I don't know if I'll ever get good.
I wish I had one of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a whole bare back, actually.
Was that a gay joke?
Well, I thought it was an unprotected
Yeah, that's
sexual
what I was going with.
But, you know, you do you, Booth.
Well, I'm just thinking of a Buck Angel interview. I believe he mentioned that. Is he gay, though? I'm not sure. I'll have to sit down with a pencil.
Yeah. I took remedial math. I can answer it.